Let's talk about the time that the United States Supreme Court ruled that a slave gaining their freedom was unconstitutional. I'm Andre, and this is Blackity Black History, the Dred Scott decision. This is Dred Scott, a black man born a slave in Southampton, Virginia sometime around 1799. In 1818, his owner, Peter Blow, took him to Alabama, and then they settled in St. Louis, Missouri, which were both slave states. His owner unexpectedly died in 1832, and he was purchased by a man named Dr. John Emerson. Emerson then took Dredd to the Illinois and the Wisconsin territories, which were both free territories. That's very important here. These are both free states where slavery was outlawed by the Missouri Compromise. In Wisconsin, Dredd married another black enslaved woman named Harriet Robinson, and her owner transferred ownership to Dr. Emerson. In 1842, John Emerson died suddenly, and the ownership of Dred Scott and his wife Harriet and their newborn child was transferred over to Dr. Emerson's wife, this ravishing young woman, Irene Sanford. At this point, Dredd and his wife are thinking to themselves, wait, we were just in free territory, and we lived there, and we conceived a child there. Doesn't that mean we're free? What? Wait, why are we still slaves? They moved back to St. Louis where Irene was living, and they asked for their freedom, and Irene denied it. So Dredd and Harriet took it to the courts. They received funding through abolitionists and their former owner, which was a surprise, and the St. Louis Circuit Court denied them but granted them a retrial, where they eventually won their freedom. Irene didn't like this and appealed their decision to the Missouri Supreme Court, where she won. And Dred Scott and his wife, in what took a hell of a lot of courage, in 1854, took it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, led by Chief Justice Robert Taney, heard their case. Robert was a born Southern aristocrat. I think you know where this is going. The United States Supreme Court ruled against Dred Scott and his wife, basically saying that black people, free or enslaved, were not citizens of the United States and had no right to sue in federal court. And more racist nonsense. By the time the decision was handed down, it was May of 1857, and Irene had remarried. Her new husband wasn't really with that slavery nonsense, and they sold Dred Scott and his wife back to the family of Dredd's original owner, the Blow family. The Blow family immediately gave Dredd his freedom, and he was a free man at the age of 58. Unfortunately, his freedom was very short-lived. He died about 13 months later at the age of 59 of tuberculosis.